I'll start off. I apologize making y'all stay 35, 45 minutes longer than we should have. That was insane. But we got the win.
Coasters, the Athletic start off winning the Junkyard Dog Chain. What did that mean to you, and just especially seeing how much it means to this team?
Yeah, it meant a lot. The guys in the locker room, when I saw Rolo get it last time, I was like, oh, this is pretty dope. But, for me to, just feel a part, and part of the group. And like I said, they've accepted me since day one, and just to go out there and continuously just, find my way, and whether it's offensively, defensively, and then to get this, it's awesome.
And your third consecutive 30-plus point game, which is a franchise record. Just early on in your career in Cleveland, what does it mean to you to be so successful early on, but also at the same time them leading to wins these last 2 games?
The biggest thing is it's my teammates with all my help. I can't do what I do without, one, the trust, the ability of my teammates to create easy shots for me, especially the bigs, man, like, Ev, J.A., Rolo, Love, those guys are getting me, open to attack. But then also on the other side, guys are attacking Karras, Chetty, those guys are attacking and finding me as well. So, without that, I'm not here, and I'm very appreciative of that. And, just like I said, just trusting the work. Tonight I personally didn't like the second half of the game, as a whole for me. The third quarter was okay, but the fourth quarter was absolute disaster in my eyes, and that's where I just got to be better. But ultimately, JB looked at me and was just like, let's go, like overtime. And, when you have that trust, you go out there and forget everything that happens, and you just go out there and play.
How did you battle through that, though? You didn't like that?
I've had worse fourth quarters, and I've shot the ball more than 29 times before too. So, when you just continuously just find a way, and you just trust the work, get into your spots, and I would say maybe early in my career that missed three, and I've missed the three in the playoffs from that same spot. I've been picked, before, and giving up the lead. Even last year we blew some leads in the fourth quarter and I didn't play well. So, for me it's like, not really going back to that, kind of staying focused on the next play and doing it on both ends of the floor, and, just continue to fight and battle. And that's what I did, and that's what we did as a group. And like I said, my teammates are right in my ear, like, keep going, don't stop, and that makes it easy for myself.
Tom Withers, AP, I heard you slam the table, Donovan. How upset were you with yourself?
It was a multiple. I thought I got fouled on the floor. I got fouled on the floater. And I missed, but I should have just played through the contact. That was what I was mad at first. And then to have to lose the ball, that's like I'm more poised than that. That shouldn't happen. And like I said, those last three possessions, the turnover, then the missed three, like we should have been home an hour ago. Like, in my head, like that's really where my head is at. We would take the win. But I promise you, for the next day and a half, all I'm going to be thinking about is, finding ways to execute late game and being the best for my team. And, I wasn't, I missed like 5, 6 in a row and, turning the ball over. Like, I wasn't my best. But, my teammates held me down and continuously uplifted me. But that was where the frustration lied, and I'm better than that, and I will be better than that. And like I said, it's better to learn these in a win than in a loss. And, I'm glad we got pulled out with the win.
HiddenGrillCleveland.com, Donovan, JB mentioned that you guys wouldn't have won without the crowd tonight. I mean, this is your first game at home. What did you feel about the crowd? What did you feel
I gotta say, man, like, when we came out, we ran out. First of all, it felt like a playoff game. That was nuts. Then we had the intro. That was crazy. And there was just segments throughout the game where you're just like, I caught myself smiling a few times. I'm trying to lock in, but I'm just looking around like, holy shit, the crowd's electric. And I'd heard about it, and I've played here, but I don't think I've ever heard it like that, And I've actually, I came to a finals game my first, second year, 16, right? Yeah, and that's when I heard it like that. But to be on this side of it, and to hear the crowd just going nuts, it's incredible. It's an incredible feeling to be a part of that. And like I said out there, 41 of these at the minimum, and continuing to go from there once we get to the playoffs, and I'm excited.
Marla Regner, Akron Beacon-Journal. Do you apologize to the crowd even?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do you give yourself a day and then you got to get over?
Yeah. I'll be good by Monday Night Football tomorrow. But like that's just for me. Like, going into the summer, there were a lot of things I pride myself on, and being a closer, being a guy that you trust with the ball is one of them. And I wasn't that, tonight in the fourth. And, I ultimately ended up getting there to the overtime. But sometimes you won't be able to get to an overtime. We weren't given a second chance, so you got to be there when your time is called, and I wasn't. It doesn't matter if we had a game yesterday. It doesn't matter if you're the back-to-back. I got to be able to do it, and, that's where my head is at. And, but, by Wednesday I'll be fine. And, like I said, we won the game. We did the things necessary, but, I'll be better.
Did you think about taking a 2 there at the end of regulation?
That's my favorite move, to be honest with you. Whether it's a 2 or a 3, like I that's like the one I probably work out with the most, And I thought it was going in, and I'm glad I missed it long than short. If I would have missed it short, I would have been pretty pissed because it means I'm tired and I get my legs into it. But I thought it was good, and I got to a move that I wanted to get to, and ultimately didn't go in. But I'm gonna take it again if I'm open and continue to trust it.
Jeff Shadell, News Herald. I was going to ask you, but you played 39 minutes before the overtime. Were you, and after back-to-back, were you tired? Or, I mean, you haven't.
Yeah, but like I said out there this morning, I prepare for everything, and whether it's playing 45, playing 39, but ultimately you can't prepare for playing 45 and 39 in a back-to-back. But it's all mental. It's all mental, all trust in the work that you've been putting in I've been putting in since June, and that's what the overtime was. And you're gonna have moments where you fail, and there's gonna be a night where I come up short, and I mess up and we lose, but ultimately understanding that the work you put in, just trusting it, getting to the basket, getting fouled, getting a stop defensively, whatever it may be, just trusting the work that I've put in. But to answer your question, yeah, I was tired, but so were they, at the end of the day. But it's no excuse. We're not going to just say, oh, we're 1-2, but I was tired. At the end of the day, we're 1-2. So now we're 2-1, and we pulled through.
Spencer Davies, basketballnews.com. As his teammate, when you see Jay chasing around Bradley Beal, and you see him stuffing Kristaps Porzingis to the rim, you see him closing out on Kuz on the perimeter, what does that do for you? As far as your defensive mentality goes, seeing him lead by example in that way, and how does that uplift the team?
You see the bench reaction, you see the crowd reaction, but with J.A., man, it's tough. I knew he could defend. I didn't know he could do all that, and ultimately, even the one that Kuz hit in the corner, when he guarded him for down to 18 seconds straight, it's a tough shot. It's great defense, and, you feel like I can't let him down. I can't blow my coverage because he's working his tail off over here on the other side, or he's covering up my mistake. And ultimately that's what him and, and Evan, those two in particular, like those guys, they work their tail off on the end of the floor. And then on top of that, having a great defensive effort and then sprinting down the floor, creating a driving lane, creating a hook, whatever it is for himself or for us, and not uttering a peep, like not saying anything. Like that's the ultimate workhorse, and I'm glad to be playing on this side and not against him anymore for sure. But Jay, man, he doesn't say much, but he goes out there, like you said, leads by example, and that uplifts me and the entire group.
And then just a particular possession that I noticed that you fronted Porzingis, and then he switched on to him.
Yep.
And then that forced a steal the other way.
Yep.
Just for you, when you get on a big man like that, is that just your immediate mentality?
I love guarding bigs, to be honest. I think I'm a pretty strong guard myself, and I think bigs think they can try and post me, but sometimes my pride gets in the way, and I should just front it and then let J.A. handle it. But, sometimes as a competitor, you want to go down and battle with the bigs, But like I said, you front that. They throw it to Will Barton at the top of the free throw line, which is trying to get the high-low. So I run to Will Barton and knowing Jay has my back. And we haven't done that in any drill. Like, that's just what you're starting to see, us starting to just figure stuff out and figuring where each other's going to be, just knowing blindly that Jay has my back and knowing that I'm going to take there. Like, we've never worked on that. And just to be able to go out there and do it, even the steal at the end, you see I'm on the low side. And Brad's driving. Dean and I switch, so he takes we invert, as we call it. Dean and I goes under the rim. He's forcing Brad into a tough shot. Now I get a steal, and now we're out to the race. Like that stuff, we work on it, but we don't speak on it much, and you're just seeing it. That's just basketball. And as a group start to get more comfortable with each other on both ends of the floor, but particularly on the defensive end, we'll see more of that.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. Hey, Donovan. The 2 turnovers, the 15-point lead that they erased. Mm-hmm. What did it take for you guys to regroup and overcome that in overtime?
It's just mental. Like I told them right in the locker room, that's a mental win. Continuing to I don't think there was a time in the huddle where we felt down. even when the crowd got quiet at that one point when they, naturally, I think there wasn't a time in the huddle where I was just like, all right, like, I won't say nervous, but we just felt like, we just gave up the lead, and I didn't even realize it was 15 points. You just knew that they came back. And I think that's a testament to this group, our mental, fortitude. And there's going to be a lot of games where it comes down to, like, moments like this. And, for us, every huddle, it's like this next play, every huddle, from 1 through 15, everybody's saying the same thing. And when you have a group of guys that, really lock in on that end, and really lock in mentally, especially at a young team, as you most would call us, it's great to see, especially early in the year, because these are the games, you look back in April and like, damn, we let this one slip. So to come out with the win on this one, it's huge.
You might have been asked this. I was in the locker room. The three-pointer at the end. How did that feel?
I thought it was good. If you look, I've taken that shot a few times. That's one of my favorite, especially going right, because I'm a downhill driver and just being able to create that space. And like I said, I didn't miss it short. I missed it long, and I'll take that 10 times out of 10. I work on that. I trust it. And ultimately didn't go in, but it's hard to say you're happy with the result, but like as a shooter, you take the long, versus the short, especially in that moment. But like I said, I work on that, and obviously didn't fall.
Did you hear the MVP chants?
I did, and I'm very appreciative of it. But I got a lot of work to do to get there. But I'm very appreciative of just the love. Like I said, from the first day, from the moment I got off the plane, and it hasn't stopped. And I'm honored and blessed to be able to be in this position. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just doing my part. It's with the trust of my teammates, of my coaches. Just going out there doing what I can, and then when DG gets back, continuing and just taking it to another level.
Last two, John, then
John Rutter, SI Media Group. You touched on the fans, but you had also said at your introductory press conference that this wouldn't necessarily sink in until you heard Ahmad call your name in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
What was that moment tonight? You talked to Ahmad. He says that kind of gave him a little extra juice for tonight.
It was, honestly, and I hate to say this to Ahmad, but like, it was just when he said Cleveland when we ran out. That was what did it for me. That's when I was like, whoa, like, I think I talked to you about the moment. Like, that was probably the moment where I was just like, because you run out on the road, it's boo, boo, everybody. And I enjoy that, but when you hear everybody screaming, and he was loud, like they turned the mics up or something, like he was loud tonight. And that for me was just like, whoa, like, I told Jay, hey, like, this place is nuts. Like, what I mean? And it wasn't even full at that time. So I was just like, man, like, this is pretty special. And that was I had my moment probably in warm-ups and layup lines. And thank God it was then and not during the game. But, that was pretty awesome.
Evan, finish it up, please.
Evan Damron, right down to you. But Donovan, you've got a lot of opportunities with Evan so far getting live ball reps. How comfortable are you feeling with him just 3 games in the season now?
Extremely. Farther along than I anticipated. I think for me, finding ways to continually get him the ball in confusion. So basically, like, we had one where I handed it back to him, and they're trying to figure out if they should switch, they should not switch. Like, there's a lot of plays for us where we can get that because him and DG have a great pick and roll dynamic where he hits him in the pocket. So to kind of get with him on a different look. So now you have 2 options. You don't know which one you're going to be thrown at. So just continue to work that while DG's out, and then when DG comes back, he's getting into his rhythm. And like I said, it's going to be work in progress. I'm always telling him, like, go ahead and attack, and I'll set screens. And if they want to switch and put a small on him, that's fine too. And he's letting me know what he sees. And the biggest thing is just being aggressive, and especially in transition. He's just running. He's getting the easy ones, getting the putbacks, and even in the post, you see him posting up, getting to his spots. And, like I said, he can be really, really, really good, and I'm looking just to help accelerate that and trying to find ways to make the game easier on him and also myself. But, we're definitely farther along than I anticipated because he's just such a talented young player.
All right, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.